Oh, hello boys, it is me. I wanted to give a video for you guys today on my in-game Enchantress. Now you've probably seen that I have been streaming this lately. If you've tuned in there, you've probably seen exactly most of the stuff you might see here, but I wanted to give you guys a bit of a breakdown, because I know not everybody can catch the live streams, and I wanted to really explain my choices of gear and why I kind of use them, where I use them, and what differentiates just your standard, I guess, reasonable in-game Enchantress to a high clearing Enchantress. What that really, what the difference is there. So I have myself enchanted up already at 22k. I'll show you my switch gear which I have for that, which is my Arax, my +3, my BK, and then my Ormus. So then that is going to give me 50 on my enchant, which is brilliant. So let's switch ourselves back over here, and then let's jump in and clear a couple of things. So let's go over to City of Damned, why not? See if this is anything decent today. Pretty simple, right? Pretty easy to clear. On lower player counts, it is pretty reasonable. You can just shoot 1 or 2 times and pierce right through, which is really great. In like P5 to P8 is where it starts to slow down, and where I think it is relevant to pre-buffs to a certain degree, and also to stack on certain pieces of gear that can give you minus enemy fire res, because you'll probably notice when playing in-game or in lots of pub games that you see Enchantress that are not really clearing a lot of stuff. They're probably missing out on those few things. They're not pre-buffing, and they don't have enough minus enemy fire res. So I just wanted to jump in here to start, just to show you guys the strength of it. This is P1. This is kind of satisfying. I love it. Let's hop back in to town, and I'll show you this damage set, and I'll kind of explain a little bit about it too. So if you've caught my live streams, you'll notice I made a new Enchantress just because. So I have one that's 93, nearly like 2 bars off 94 actually, and I just wanted to roll another one just because, with my name being Double Billy. So I can personalize things like another demon machine, which I have done. So my stats are pretty good. I have my spirit on switch, so my strength is a bit lower. One option I might get in the future is potentially an obsession, maybe, with enchant fire mastery. Then I can drop a whole bunch of strength, which would be amazing, and I can just put even more into energy shield. So that's something that I kind of like the idea of. Now, the rest is dexterity is mainly just enough to wear this, which is 95, and we've just thrown everything else here. So vitality is 140. I love the overflow from energy shield when that does drop. It gives us a bit of a breather, and then energy is 232. So my res is pretty decent with this setup. I have certain pieces of gear which I'll switch out. There's definitely more upgrades I can get to easily max my resistances. That is the biggest thing that is the most difficult to sort out in in-game, because with having a demon machine and a crossbow, we're missing out so much from not having a spirit and not having a shield, which is so easy to pack resistances on. That's one thing that paladins they have such an easy time with in comparison to setups like this. So my demon machine, I have my same 15 IS 27 cold res, and then I have, moving on to my other gear, I have +3 fire skills with 20 FCR, and I rolled 2 sockets. So I had to get 2 of these to get the right one, boys, but we did it. So to still benefit from Flickering Flame, I have my fire res from that on my mercenary. So I prefer having the FCR and the extra plus 10% fire skill damage here, so this is definitely better in all cases, I would argue. My mercenary doesn't do a shit ton of damage, so I feel like it's better to have the Flickering Flame instead of an Endariel's. He gets so much more benefit. Most of the damage we're doing is from me. He's just kind of there supporting with his Infinity and Fortitude, alright? Yeah. Well, and the Holy Freeze, so we don't have to Frost Nova anymore. Now, I have my Mage Fist, which are brilliant. I've got a Res Ring, which is kind of horrible, but it suited me well for what I have. I need to replace that, I'm sorry. I have a Caster Belt, which is pretty good. 15 strength, decent mana. It has near perfect lightning res and poison reduce, so that's one thing which would be situational. Another thing which would be situational is potentially a Thunder Gods, right? That is very helpful as well in certain cases. Ravenfrost, I have my Sandstorm tricks. If you're building this, you don't necessarily need Sandstorms. You can go for something else with res too, just like this, right? Get something with high res, make sure you have enough resistances elsewhere, rings, amulet, potentially a helm, or even charms, right? So this is what I have. I prefer Sandies for hit recovery, the stats, and then I have decent charms where I feel like my res is comfortable using my Sandies. Yeah? Now, I've got this here which I switch out. It is a decent Sork amulet with res. Had this for a while. It's not the strongest, but it is what I have. On my Switch, I do have a 310 caster amulet, which I feel like, again, if I don't need the res, then I will swap that out. It's pretty, yeah, pretty same. You know, one place which would be, which I'd be more lenient on having less resistances would obviously be cows, so I'm going to show that today. So let's switch back to that, finish off the rest of my setup. So I have my 70 Sunder. I'm trying to match all my Grand Charms across with all my monster ones just because I like them. You know, it's kind of really all I have. But that's my main kind of setup. So with the damage setup, this I would say is the main piece, which is going to differentiate just your standard sorceress, whether you're running Viper Magi's or something like that, or Q Hagens. This is the main piece, right? You want that massive chunk of minus enemy fire resistance, which is going to help you clear the heavier resistant areas such as Chaos Sanctuary, such as during Baal runs and all these certain things. This is going to allow you to really smooth out your high player count gameplay with this build. If you're playing high end, you feel like you've really hit a plateau. Do you have enough plus skills? Are you pre-buffing? Do you have enough enemy fire resistance? And when you're putting all this stuff on, you need to make sure you're accounting for your lack of res, right? That's really important. So, one thing I would like to show you is switching out to my Razor Tail. So we've got our 66 here, and we're going to hop over and do some cows. Because in just 1 or 2 bullets now, I can nuke through a whole pack, which is kind of satisfying. I'm like, maybe I don't record this because it is just players 1 gameplay. But it was kind of funny shooting through, so I want to show you right now. That's 1 bullet. Another one. Look at this, boys. Oh, this is amazing. Maybe it's just me, but I do find this pretty entertaining. Being able to shoot 1 bullet and you kill like 8 cows. Pretty good. Ah, look at that. Homunculus. There we go. So, if you guys find some facets in your travels, even shitty 3 or 4% fire facets, I would recommend keeping them, because you can shop a plate like this. You can get your hands on one of these reasonably cheap, reasonably easily. Maybe not my one, with the plus 98. You could get like plus 80, plus 70, plus 60 life, you know, and you can really benefit a lot from that minus fire res. Now, one other thing I'd like to show you guys is a slight variation in crossbow setup. So with your Demon Machine, you need about, I think, 7 IES if I remember right, for this to be attacking consistently at the highest cap, which is 2.27 attacks per 7 APS, right? So I have my 15 IES duel in here. You can do a Shale, which is very common. 15 IES with extra res or whatever would be min-maxing. 15 IES with 20 mana would be min-maxing, since that's perfect mana roll. So that's why I have that here. Now, another option is putting a Demon Machine with a perfect facet, right? Right here. So I got this one prepared. So it gives you more fire damage, more minus enemy fire res, but I do need the attack speed. So then one thing which I have is this. I've been crafting some gloves with knockback, some power hit gloves. I want to try and get some with better resistances, but ideally all we need, boys, is at least 10 attack speed and then anything else you need, like resistances, and we are good to go. So we benefit from the higher damage here from the facet, and we get the attack speed, so we're still hitting at 2.27 APS, and we get fucking knockback, which is really handy, and I love the gimmick of it. So I'm going to pre-buff again, just to show you, and then I want to pump off and finish off with a Baal run, just for you boys, right? So I'll put some little, not thumbnails, I'll put some little clickable links down below so you guys can click through if you want to click over to Baal, but I'm going to click that through right now. So bingo, +3, +1, and almost very quick to pre-buff again. We're sitting at 49, so I've missed something. I don't know what I've missed. No, that is right. No, it's not. Mage Fist, fuck me. Alright, there we go. 45, chuck that on, then swap the gloves back out. So that's my extra one. Bing, 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 bing. Alright, let's go, boys. When I am telling you through for Wheelstone Keep, I like putting on the T-Gods in higher player counts because Wisps are difficult to deal with. They are. Oh, this is beautiful. Here we go. Can this build kill Uber Diablo? Yes, it can, as long as your mercenary is still alive with conviction. I did it once, but I didn't quite record it right, so oh well. Maybe I'll be free during another spawn so I can record that for you guys then. Homunculus. 193 ED. Is that worth keeping? Man, you guys really got to get your hands on a Gothic plate. Look at that, boys. Oh, I love it. So again, damage is 22. This is resistances with the Gothic plate. So I don't get any res from that. It's amazing. It is very important to make sure you're min-maxing your resistances from other pieces of gear. So I could do with a better ring. I could do with a lot more res on the gloves like that, man. I really could. Even the amulet is pretty average. It's good for res for the most part, but yeah. Gives you an idea of what I'm kind of working with, you know? Beautiful. I'm excited to show you the last wave, the Minions of Destruction, because they're infamous for being just massive life, massive fire resistance, so it'll be good to show. Here we are, boys. Those are fire resistant mobs. Notorious, and they can't really do much with this kind of setup. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 perfect fire facets with this current setup. I'm not going to use any static on this. Let's do Baal. 3, 2, 1, boom. Easy as that, boys. This is the in-game DPS Enchantress, which I'm going to push hopefully past 95. We'll see how much patience I have. But really, 7 facets, this is the way to go, boys. Get yourself enough minus fire res. Just, this is how you push yourself ahead of the pack from the other casual Enchantresses out there, okay? You hear it from me. But I hope you guys are doing well. I'll try and get a few more live streams out in the next few weeks as I'm free, but yeah, this is what I'm going to be pushing, boys. This is what we're pushing. So, I'll see you around.